Hey, what's up? Welcome to our community. So the goal of this community is to really focus on taking AI, taking automations, and we're using no-code automation specifically to help small businesses, to help entrepreneurs figure out how to take difficult situations, difficult solutions, and put them together in a way that just makes things easier. Our goal is to help people increase efficiency and improve their productivity. And a comment that I recently heard that really is automate, don't delegate. And that's something that we're really going to work towards helping people. I have a community on school as well. It is called Chase Automates with AI. We will be incorporating different AI tools and different programs and different systems together in order to facilitate utilizing our no-code system. So as you can see on the screen here, the no-code system that I prefer is Make.com. So the way Make.com works, gives you the ability to drag and drop different tool programs together into what is almost like a Canvas dashboard. And you can use that Canvas dashboard to piece things together. And as you can see down here on the screen right here in this demo, you have something that happens, which is a trigger. It goes into something that either splits it up or into the next step. In this scenario, it is a router and it has it do multiple things. But instead of you having to write the program that says, after this happens, type in all this code, build out these connections between each other, Make.com uses API, which is Application Program Interface. So it allows those programs to communicate to one another and or be communicated with from a computer without having to log in and manually type or point and click on all the things you want. If you know the commands that it's looking for from an API perspective, then you can manipulate that tool the same way without having to actually be there doing it in person or logged into the system. And that's what Make.com does for us, right? It is already programmed with all of the APIs for a lot of different tools. And when you select the tool and the module type of that tool, then it already has some of the API stuff built into that. So it gives us the ability to connect things to each other. So if you don't have an account, you can just click up here where it says get started for free. You can create an account. What I'm going to do is walk through some of these parts. I will tell you that most of the solutions, Make.com is free. You can use up to 3 active scenarios with the free account. And then once you have more than that running at the same time, you either have to shut some of them off or you have to move up to the paid subscription. So just going to sign up for an account here. So after you choose email and all that stuff, it's going to ask you a couple of questions about what are you using it for? What is the primary? What do you want to automate with this? Maybe it's social media. How would you describe your experience in automating workflows? You have no experience or you have a lot. This is really just their survey to make sure that they understand what type of demographic they're actually working with, the people that are coming in. How'd you hear about it? Probably YouTube, or maybe it was through the school community. So either way, the goal here is for us to just get started. So once you get into Make.com, you have to actually start connecting some things in order for the stuff to work. This is going to give you a 30-day free trial. I'm going to suggest that, you can go through and do this, but what I don't want you to do is get so used to using it with the pro version and then it basically is going to shut off all those things after 30 days. And it's trying to force you into subscribing for it. So if we go look at the costs here, if you're billed annually, this is what we're looking at. But so from the free forever plan, you get 1,000 operations a month, no code workflow builder, unlimited users, 2 active scenarios now. It used to be 3 whenever I first started using it. So there's some file limit sizes and stuff like that. But for just getting started and learning how Make.com works, this is more than perfect. This is good. So we're going to go over here to scenario. Under organization, this is where it's going to show you when you first log in and you have active scenarios, it's going to show you some stuff under the dashboard, like how many operations have been used during these dates. It'll show you your usage. How many operations have you used out of the percentage that you have? Gives you an option to upgrade here. Shows you how many active scenarios you have. You can, once you have active scenarios, now an active scenario doesn't mean that you've created only 2 scenarios. You could have 40 scenarios created, but you only have 2 of them turned on. So like maybe they're watching for a webhook, or maybe it's watching an Airtable row or like a Google sheet. So when a new row hits that sheet, it automatically does something. Those are active scenarios. So they're watching something or they're waiting for something to happen, or maybe it's a time-based one. So we're going to go over here to scenario, and we're going to create a new scenario. So you'll see here, there's nothing there. And click on create a new scenario up here at the top. And once we do that, right now, this is your blank canvas. There's nothing here. You'll see some like some menu bars down here at the bottom that have different things. You save. One thing that I do want to put out right now is that in Make.com is not like Microsoft. It's not like Google Docs or whatever, where it saves it automatically for you. If you don't click save and your computer crashes, you've lost whatever you've done in your scenario. Save often, but that's going to help you. Scenario inputs. You can define specific inputs that come in. You can add a structure if you want to. Scenario settings, you can go in here and say, I want to be able to allow incomplete executions. So it's going to pop up and say, or it's going to give you warnings in some of the scenarios where you can't have this because this is the wrong type of end module. You need to have a module that actually makes sense for it to be at the end. This is where you change those settings. Next, you can add little notes to this if you want to. This is really, it's good for you if you're going to go back and you can't remember what you did here, or if you have multiple people working in your scenarios, you can roll back to previous versions, and you'll see once we start saving that they'll show up here, and it shows the time. Auto align's really great because as you start having more and more modules in here, sometimes they can get all over the place whenever you put them in there. This is going to give you the ability to just click a button and align everything up for you. More, we have explain flow. It'll try to explain it to you. Import and export blueprint. So if you're in my make.com or if you're in my school community, in all of the explainer videos that I do, there will be a blueprint where you can just take that blueprint, import it into make.com, and it'll put all of the modules in there for you. And then all you have to do is go change your connections to your account for the things. All right. These over here are some of the more common modules. And as you start using certain things, you may see additional modules pop up down here, or you can add ones down here. Oh, I use ChatGPT a lot. You can just put that down there. So whenever you want to use it, it'll pop up instead of having to go through here and search for the things that you use on a regular basis. So when we click here, this is our start one. This is going to be our trigger module. So whatever you're using it for, that's what this is going to do. There are quite a few AI systems that we're going to use throughout here. And I want to make sure that we're not going too far, too fast with this. And I want to make sure that we have the ability to understand as we step through this. So I want to start off with an RSS feed. And the reason for this is because we can manually pull something whenever we're ready to do this. Instead of having to wait for something to happen, I'm going to say retrieve RSS. Watch RSS would be, it's always running. And whenever a new link or a new article hits an RSS feed, it would just grab that article and pull it in automatically at that time. So we're going to use this. And you have to put in an RSS feed. So if you don't have RSS, I would tell you that there are a couple tools out there. I'm going to go to one's called rss.app. I have this already built out. I'm already paying for this. There is a free version of this that you can grab. It's basically like a 14-day trial. I use this quite a bit, so I paid for it. It gives me the ability to search things. But basically, you click on this, you say, I want a new feed. Let's say that the topic, I already have one in here, but let's say cryptocurrency, which I don't have anything about cryptocurrency currently. I can come in here and generate this, and it's going to give me an RSS feed. Okay, I like this. It's got information here that I want to, let's say that we want to create articles or we want to do some research on this information. That's what this RSS feed is for. It gives you something where you can quickly go in and pull information from. So I'm going to just use an example of something that I use on a regular basis, which is AI and no code, the point of our community here. So you scroll through this one and you'll find different articles that have come up. Cloudera unveils RAG Studio for AI without coding skills. So this is perfect because this is something that we're using. Now here's a couple things that you can do. One, for our scenario, we just needed to pull an article. So we're going to copy this URL. We're going to go back over here to the RSS feed and we're going to put the URL in there. You can set dates or you can leave these blank. If you leave them blank, it's just going to come basically in order of whatever was available on your RSS feed here. if you put dates in here, so you could say, I only want from 2000 through 2022, you could add those in there and it will never pull references outside of that. So let's say if you were doing things that were based on 90s news articles, you could have it only reference articles that came out of the 1990s, right? So you could do things like that. We're going to leave those blank, and then maximum number of return items. How many items do you want to send back to you? Let's just go with 5. We're going to have it send those back. Okay, so every time you're building these things out, you have the ability to either click run once down here. And if you do that, if you had multiple things in here, it's going to run all of those modules at the same time. Or if you right click on the module, you can say run this module only. So once it ran, it went and pulled this, and it's pulled 5 articles back. So the art from those, it has 5 bundles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll see the information that came back with that bundle. So it's got the URL for that blog or that article. It's got the image. There's no image there, no source, RSS feed, media content. So you have the ability to have this go grab stuff for you. It's going to grab this article. So in this scenario, it provides the article for you. And how that helps is, let's say you have a scenario like I have one where I use this exact type of thing for it to grab a URL. And the URL goes into another system, which we're going to talk about on a regular basis. So we can go ahead and add it in here right now. So let's do Perplexity. Now, Perplexity AI is a research-based AI system. So it's connected to the internet, and it will go out and do research for you. It is really good at doing basically topical information research for you. So you give it a URL and say, I want you to go do research about this, and come back and give me other things that you, like other information. So let's go to my school community. Inside of the automate everything, I have a Perplexity research agent prompt here. So we're going to put this in there in just a second, but right now what I want to do is connect it. So you got to make a connection to Perplexity. So let's go to perplexity.ai. I have an account, but I will tell you that you don't need to pay for the pro account on Perplexity. You just need the API. So if you go into the API settings of Perplexity, you can sign up for this part without having a pro account on Perplexity. Like I don't have a pro account that I pay for in Perplexity, but I do have credit here. So you can add however much money you want up in here, and it could be $5, and it will take a long time for it to get to $5, just to let you know. So you add a little bit of money in here so that you can have access to this. And then what you're going to do is create a connection to your Perplexity account. So you come here, you need to generate an API key. So to get that under the API profile, you're going to come down here, click on generate. You'll copy that key and then bring it over here and paste it into this. Now what this is looking for is making sure that you actually have an account that has funding in it. It has money, it has tokens in there that can be used. Now there are a lot of different models here. For Perplexity, we're going to just stick with we're going to go down here to the 8B instruct, because we're going to be sending it an instruction to do something. So you can just do a completion and you can ask it to provide information back to you. Or if you do an instruction, you can provide a little bit more stuff. So this, we're going to be sending it as a user role, but we have the content of this prompt here. So the prompt, if you look at it here, is in-depth article analysis and insight extraction. So we're looking for it to analyze the article by identifying 2 or 3 core phrases, do targeted research, and then we want it to curate, look for relevant assessment. So we're looking for the 5 most relevant up-to-date insights or facts. And we're also looking for a concise insight presentation. So we want it to give us information back. We also want it to provide credibility and make sure that it's recent and it's not something from 35 years ago. And then down here, we have an example output, recent insights. insight 1, fact 1, the source, and the date. So we're just going to copy this whole thing here, and then we'll go over here to make.com, and inside of the content section, and paste that in. And don't worry about the fact that when you paste things into make.com, it all goes into a wonky thing. Some people don't like that, and they'll try to do paste and match style, which you can, but then sometimes you need to go back in and clean it up by getting rid of all these extra spaces that were in here. So it's up to you, right? Some people, for preference, like I just don't want it to look all goofy. We're gonna get rid of those, get rid of all that, all the extra space. Boom. All right, so then you'll see here when I try to click OK, it allows me to do it. And by default, if you do not set a token, it's gonna put whatever the max token is. Now, tokens are how you're charged. So if you tell it, I want you to provide 35 articles, it's going to take up a lot more. You'll notice that we said only provide 5, so it gives it a kind of a limit. You can also set a limit by adding how many tokens you want it to use. Don't spend any more than this. And that kind of gives you a little bit of control as far as what type of information comes back. You'll notice here that there was no input. It's just saying you're going to be provided with an article. So I want it to go back over here, and I want it to pull from this RSS module, and it's going to go down here to the URL. So you click on the URL, that is the article, and then we're just going to put this in here as article URL, so that we're telling it, here's the article that we want you to do this for. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. And what it's going to do is it's going to look for the RSS. It's going to grab, and just for making sure that we don't end up with things that are too confusing, let's just do 1. And then I'll show you what happens when we do 2 of them. So run once, it pulled that, and now it's sent it over here to Perplexity, did the analysis that we asked it to do. And if we click out right here, we go under choices, number 1, we look under message, and then content, we're going to see, here's the information that we're looking for. So core phrases, AI powered. So let's go look at the input. We gave it this URL to use. Right there. So let's copy that. Let's go look at that article that it was researching. So key things inside of this article under from Bazinga. So it went to this website. It scanned all of the stuff in there, and then it did this information for us. What are the core phrases? AI-powered sales automation, no-code sales performance, sales room, and Creato partnership, right? Targeted search execution. So it provides this information for us. Recent insights. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Source and credibility. These are sources that it provides for us. So all of this information is pulled into here. And think about what you have the ability to do from this. So let's say we want to do something like, I don't know, let's say we wanted to create a post. I think over here in my school community, here's a good one. Let's say, so this is for the summarizer. Let's say that we don't want to sit here and read everything in this article. This article that we pulled up is, quite lengthy. Now this one's not too long. Let's say there is one that's really long, right? Let's make a summarizer, right? So the next step across here, 1, it provides us with this information, and then let's go over here and use ChatGPT. Now, similar to Perplexity, we have to create an account and connect to it. So we're going to do a create completion prompt, and then we need to create a connection. There's no connection in here right now. So for ChatGPT, another AI system that we're going to be using on a regular basis, we'll go to platform.openai.com. And in platform.openai.com, click on settings up here, and then we'll go down here to API keys. And then we'll create a new key, make.com. Build together account. Right. We don't need to, just have this one there, give it all permissions. create a secret key. It's going to generate this key and you're going to copy it. And then you're going to come back over here into ChatGPT or into make.com and you're going to paste that API key right there. And then we're going to click on save. Now it's going to create that. It's connected to your ChatGPT account. So you have the ability to go in and do these pretty quickly. Now, similarly to Perplexity, ChatGPT has a lot of models that are available. We generally will tell you to go with whatever the most recent one is, and it's going to say system, right? O1 mini system, O1 preview system, GPT 4.0 system. Like these are the latest ones right now. Mini works for most things and it's cheaper to use it. So we usually will go with that one. If it's something that's more complex, you needed to do really in-depth, like analytical, like thinking and using reasoning, the O1 preview is actually a little bit better right now. So we're gonna go and choose mini. And then we're gonna go down here underneath mini. We're gonna click on add a message. We're using the role of user and then text, the context we're gonna put in is not that. I copied this other one a minute ago. So we're going to go to Summarizer. Now, we have two different things to use here. So we're going to paste this in. And we're telling it to give a 35-word limit. Summarize this, make it concise, 35 words or less. We don't want to go too much over that. You will see that sometimes you'll set that, but to make the point, it has to go maybe 36 or 38 words, and it will do that. But we also have max tokens in here, just like we did in the Perplexity one. So we're going to go in here. Now we have to tell it where the article is, right? Article. And we want to tell it to pull from there. Do a click on there, it gives us this and the URL. Now, we're going to run all of this and then we're going to discuss something. This will run, Perplexity will run, and it's going to pull that URL to do the research. And then ChatGPT is going to run and it's going to pull this URL as well. And let's see what happens. Perplexity got it. ChatGPT got it. ChatGPT finished. Perplexity did what it did last time. Choices. Message. Content. Boom. It provided the same stuff that we had on the last one. Now let's go over here and look at ChatGPT. Choices. One. Message. Content. Creative partners with Sales Room to boost the sales performance. Now, here's what's interesting. Not too long ago, ChatGPT could not access URLs. If you gave it a URL, it would fail. It would tell you not able to access the URL to read it. All right, so let's say we have Perplexity, and so this has done a little bit of research for you. This has done a summary for you. And then let's say we wanted to write us a post for a social media thing. So let's say another ChatGPT module, but let's right here. One of the things that a lot of people forget to do, and it's really important here, is right click this and rename it. So we can say this is for summary generation. So this is going to create our summary. When you're looking at the scenario, it makes it much easier for you to tell what it is. Why is this important? Let's say you have 10 ChatGPTs things next to each other and they all have different purposes. If you don't put in there what it's for, a lot of times you're going to forget what you were using it for. So let's go over here to ChatGPT. We're going to do another model. And then on this one, we're going to have it create a post for us. So let's say we wanted to create maybe a LinkedIn post for us. So we're going to go over here and we're going to tell it. So in this one, we are using a one mini again. We're going to add this message. And then we're going to set the role as user. And then the text content, we are going to paste in this prompt. And I'll go over this prompt and I will tell you there's some things here that we are going to work on in future things where we're going to talk about how to do things a little bit different, how to do things a little bit more improved. Where are these notes over here? So what does this prompt say? And this will be added to the community as well. So it'll be in there. If you're in my school community, you'll be able to just go in and download this, copy and paste it right into your ChatGPT sections. So what is this for? We're setting a tone of voice. We have contextualized for a global audience. We have structure for engagement, hashtags and keywords, additional considerations and examples, right? So we need to tell it what we want to pull from. Source article. This URL. Additional research for LinkedIn post. And then that's going to be Perplexity. So on this one, we're going to go to choices, message, content. All right. And then that's it. Now you have the ability to post it straight from there to LinkedIn. I don't recommend doing that. And here's why. If you have ChatGPT just post things for you, it may not be in the way you sound. It may not be in your best interest. Maybe it pulled an article that you wouldn't want to normally use. So in that scenario, the way I do this, and this is a realistic scenario for me, I actually have it pull articles for me, and I actually provide those articles. I have it pull articles. I have it put it into an Airtable. Now, Airtable is basically like Google Sheets, but it has got a lot more capabilities. It's all online. It's like a database structure that it's being used for. Airtable, like I said, is basically becomes a spreadsheet. There is a free version of it. For the most part, your free account will be able to do most of what you want to do. There are some things inside of that. If you have a paid account where you can add additional grid views, you can add automations to it, that type of stuff. We're going to click on create here. We'll go to start from scratch. And then we can just title this our first automation. All right. And then we're going to give it a couple names. So we'll say article title. So this is the original article title, right? So when we go here and we're looking at the information that came out of here, it tells us, right? What's the title right there? What's the summary? What's the perplexity research? So we'll have it put all of this stuff in here. So next to this, we're going to add one to the right, and it's going to be called a URL. Look at these down here. So this one's a single line. For some of the articles that are longer, so you may want to do a long text for that. But for this one, URL, we're going to go down and we're going to choose URL. So this is going to make sure it's an actual URL. We're going to change this to long text. Next to this, we'll add in perplexity research. This is going to be a long text. Add in another one to the right that this is going to be article summary. Also long text because it's 35 words. Next to that, we're going to do LinkedIn post content. And this is going to be long text as well. Field. All right, so now we have those three things there. So then what we're going to do is we need to connect Airtable to our automation here. So we'll click on this and we're going to click on, here we're going to type in Airtable. And we're going to say we want to create a record. Now we have to build a connection to this just like we did with everything else. All right, so we're going to click on here. Once we go to this, we have to do create a connection. We're going to click on this type. Now you'll see here that there's an Airtable token or key. We click on that one, and it's going to give us a warning. You can still do this, it's still there, but it did officially be pulled down from being supported as of January 2024. So ideally you avoid that. So we're going to switch this over to Airtable OAuth, and then you name it whatever you want to. Click on save, and it's going to open up another little window here, and this is where you're going to log into your account. If you already logged into Airtable, which you had to have created an account whenever you did this, then you will notice that it's already connected. So it's already there, but now it wants to know for this Airtable, what base do you want to give access to? So for this one, I'm going to give access to all current in future basis. So I add that one and then grant access. And then what's going to happen is it's going to pull this up over here and give me the ability to go find that one. Now remember, we named it our first automation. So under the base right here, should be close to the bottom, our first automation, or you can also type this in. So right here, our first automation. You click on that. Now it wants to know what table. So think about Google Sheets or Excel, you have tabs, right? Inside of Airtable, you have tabs across the top. So table 1, and let's do another one here, and we'll call this just to learn. We save that. Now when we go back here to make.com and we look at so it shows just table 1. If we click on this little update button here, this little refresh button here, it's going to go back out to this our first automation, and it's going to say what else is new, what's changed. So we see those two there. We're going to use table 1. Now, when you click on table 1, it's going to bring you all of the columns, right? So all of the available columns you have there, it's going to pull that information in for you. Now, how does this help you? You click in each of these, and we're going to assign the information from each of the things in our operation or in our automation into that. So we click on article title. Where was that at? That was back in this first one under the title. So for RSS, it's going to pull whatever that title is, and it's going to put it in right there. URL. We're going to click on the URL. Perplexity research, we're going to go up here to choices. We don't want that. That would fail. If we were just to send this, it wouldn't actually give us the content that we're looking for. So for Perplexity, we go into choices, the drop down next to message, and then we're going to click on content. That's what we want to send to it. The article summary, now you'll see the difference here. In ChatGPT versus Perplexity, ChatGPT, you can do the same thing. Choices, message, content, or... And I'm sorry, I was in the wrong one there. So let's go back and add content back to this. And under article summary, or with ChatGPT, it also gives you another option at the very top that just says result. And that's the one that we're going to click on. You could dial into this and go grab the content. But if you just click on result, it's going to give you the same thing. So and here's the other cool thing. When you hover over one of these, it's going to flash on the screen. It shows you which ChatGPT module you're working with. Now, you may have to zoom out sometimes to see that if you have a really big scenario. When you hover over it, it's flashing. It's showing you exactly which article or which one you're working with. Now, for us, we named it, so we know that's the summary generation. But under this one, the LinkedIn post content, I didn't give that a name yet because I didn't rename that one. All it says is OpenAI ChatGPT. When we update that, when we rename it, it'll show us what we're looking for there. Result, we're going to add that there. Let's click OK, and now let's run the scenario. What's going to happen? It's going to pull that article from the RSS feed. It's going to send it to Perplexity for doing the research. It's going to send it to ChatGPT to create a summary. And then it's going to create post content for LinkedIn. Let's go ahead and run this, see what happens. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our Airtable so you can see it get populated. Because once it finishes, what's going to happen is it's just going to pop up here on the screen. Boom, it's all there. So then we click on this little expand option. It's going to open up everything. It shows us the URL, shows us all of the content or the research from there. Here's the article, and then here's the post, right? So you just take this, copy it, paste it, post it right into LinkedIn. You've got a post that's written. It's well written. But here's the thing that I love about doing it this way. If there's something that I don't like, or let's say I would never use the word integrating, I would say something different, then I can just change it right there. And when you make that change, it's going to automatically go into being ready. So this is our first automation. We took it from an RSS feed, just grabbed a URL. Now let's see what happens if we have more than one thing here. Remember under the RSS feed, I set this to 1 and I said we could have 5. Let's set it to 5. What it's going to do is run this whole automation multiple times. Let's go ahead and say run once. It pulls it. Now you'll see that this is still spinning. And the reason that this is still spinning is because it's going to check for 5 different articles. And it's running through Perplexity, ChatGPT to create the summary, create the actual post, post it in Airtable. And then this request was only once. only one time this pulled all 5 bundles. And then this is going to run 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now it's 2. Now this is running again. When it finishes, it's going to update to 3. And that's what's happening. So it's going to go out there and grab 5 articles for you and put it in there. It gives you the ability to batch things together if you want to. Now, this is one part of the scenario. So we're going to go ahead while we're here. We're going to create another scenario. We're going to let this one keep running, but I'm going to open another scenario on a separate page. And for this one, we're going to call this scenario post to LinkedIn. Now, you can do this for LinkedIn, you can do this for Instagram, you can do it for whatever. And we actually have the ability to, and I will do it on another one, where we will show taking this and then creating the output for LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, or Twitter, or whatever. It'll have the different content because it's worded differently. The layout's a little bit different for each of those. And in order for you to rank well in each of those social medias, that will give you the ability to do it well and not have everything coming from the same thing. And a lot of times you'll post on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook and it just copies the same thing over. This way you would have it only go to that one social media and it's only going to be relevant for that one. So let's build this other scenario real quick. So on this one, we're actually going to do an Airtable. And we're going to tell it, watch records. Now, there's something that we didn't add on this other one, and we need to put it in there for this to work properly. At the end over here, it usually goes at the very end. What we don't have is a created time. So what time or what was the date and time that this article or that this row was created, and then last modified. So last modified time. Now, both of those were done at the same time, so you'll see that there's no difference. But what it's looking for is, what if you made changes? What if things are different? This took that one, so it gave me, we had these two, and then it created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, why are these two the same? In the RSS feeds, a lot of times it's the same topic, and it's just different news stations covering the same thing. So that's why you'll see that some of these things are a little bit different. So see, this came from a different place, but it's the same topic. It's under search instead. So that's why it's one of the reasons I don't want it to automatically just grab the RSS feed, because if it does, it may be a duplicate, maybe something I don't want to run out like that. But now we have this here. We can go over to this new scenario and connect the Airtable. We're going to go to same thing. We're going to search for our first automation. And we're going to say table 1. And then we're going to say the trigger is going to be last modified. Label field is article title. That's fine. And this one right now is set to 10. So it would run 10 of them at once. So let's just do 2 so they can run at one time. What it's going to do is when this runs, so from now on, it's going to grab the first most recent. So in this table, it's going to grab whichever one was done first, and that's it. Now, what we can do is say, let's look at this status over here. So status is blank. So we're going to change these to deny, pending, complete. Let's just do posted. So we have different statuses, and right now they're blank. So what we can say in the scenario is, the next thing we would want it to do is send it to LinkedIn. And we want to create a user text post. So a user text post, right? And this can just be posted directly to the LinkedIn account. When you do this, you are going to have to connect to your LinkedIn. Connection type is going to be LinkedIn. Just click save, and then it's going to do the same thing that Airtable did. It's going to try to log you into your LinkedIn page. You're going to have to know your username and password for this to work. You sign in, it's asking to give credit, to give access. Sure. And you'll see down here it's saying to Integromat, that is make.com. That's what it used to be called a long time ago. Now I'm going to post this, but then I'm going to go and delete it from my LinkedIn profile. But the content here, this is pulling the content from the Airtable. So LinkedIn post content, it's going to grab that and it's going to make the post. That's all it's doing. When you give it permission, because you came in here and said yes, then you can run. Now, what we can do is say, let's change this. Let's say we want to have to approve it first. So instead of having the status as deny pending posted, we can do, let's say, approve and then posted. So then let's say we want this one to go. We click on approve. But we told it that it can run two. So in this scenario, we want to be able to restrict this to where it only runs the one that we've approved. We click on this, we're going to create a filter, approved content. And the condition is that the status is equal to, and I will always say case insensitive because I want it, I don't want it like approve uppercase or lowercase to make the difference. So approve and then click OK. That's saying that the status has to be set to approve for it to go through. So let's take that off of there and get rid of that. If we hit run once, nothing happened. It said boom. We pulled all of it. We pulled this. However, it did not meet the requirement of approve, right? Now, if I go back here and I set this to approve, and I come back and say run once again, the first one ran. It met the requirement of approved. Let's go look at this. So the information for this or the content, imagine increasing your sales team's productivity by 30%. And jump over here into LinkedIn. Go down here to posts and activities. For this profile. Right here. Imagine increasing your sales activity by 30%. So how do you make this automated? So let me give an example of what you would do. You would come in here and you would set these two. You reviewed it. I know that I want to approve this one. I want to approve this one. I want to decline this one, decline this one. And then in your scenario, you would set up this event to happen. Right now it's set to every 15 minutes if you were turning it on. So at regular intervals, you could say on specific days of the week, let's say I want to do Monday, Tuesday, or select all, but I don't want Saturday and Sunday to run. Now this is the important part. What time do you want it to run? I want it to run at 8:49 a.m. So every day, it's not active yet. So this is saying your scenario is scheduled, but it's not active. Would you like to activate it to run as planned? Activate it. What did I say earlier? We have unsaved changes. So save that. It's running. So when we come out of here, it's already ready. So the next day, the next weekday at 8:49 a.m., it's going to post that next thing. So let's go back here and see what happens. Post it to LinkedIn. You click on this, run once, boom, it ran. It grabbed the next one and actually ran two because there were two that were approved. So I go back to LinkedIn and I refresh this page. You're going to see that there's two more posts that went in. The first one that I did, because I told it to run twice. The first one, there was only one that was approved. Imagine increasing your sales team's productivity in today's fast-paced sales environment. Build a ChatGPT app. You might need a code rescue. Boom. Back to back, things went through, and that was from me telling it to go. But if you had it set up for a specific time, it would run at that specific time every day. And as long as you've approved it, now you have automated your ability to post on LinkedIn. I hope this helps. I hope that this is an awesome opportunity for you to see how to do something like this with a automation And again, if this scenario is not turned on, let's say you wanted to batch this stuff, but you don't want to pay the membership for this, you could come in here in make.com. You could just leave both of these off. Or let's say you only want this one to be on. So you come in here and you batch this part of it. So you say on a Tuesday, and let's change something here. So let's say you want to change up the content a little bit. We'll go back to this one. I'm going to switch from AI and no code to AI and image creation. Different one. Copy that URL. Now I'm going to jump back into this one here. I'm going to change the URL of this to the one for AI. And I'm going to say, you know what, because this is let's say you want to do this once a day and you're going to post once, I don't know, only on the weekdays. So let's say 15 posts. Now, here is one thing I do want to mention. Some of these are limited to how many posts are going to pull through. So it's only going to pull through a certain number of posts for you, especially if you are on a free account. It's only going to show you, I think, 5. So if you have a paid one and you wanted to do all of this at one time, say you want to pull 15, it's going to run 15 of these for you. This is not automated. It's not set up to run automatically. It is set up to just run when you click on it. So we click run once and it's going to run these 15 and add them into Airtable and they're ready for us. But we have this other one set up for every morning at 8:49 a.m. to post content to our social media for LinkedIn. So hopefully this is helpful. I'm going to create another one of these that will be used for distributing. You have one content topic, and then you're going to distribute that across 5 or 6 different accounts. We'll set it up to where you can do to LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, or Twitter, all of those things. I'll also show you how to do some image creation in the future as well. So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know what you think, and we'll catch you on the next one.